Last week, Diane and I traveled over 2,000 miles across Wyoming. We were holding listening sessions. We did it in 11 communities and heard some great common sense ideas. I want to thank everyone who came out and shared their thoughts and concerns. I learned a lot. While I'm still digesting everything I heard, I want to address a few more issues that people have contacted me about via Facebook, phone, email, Twitter, or even through my staff. The constituent issues are, one of the issues I hear the most concerns are sequestration, the across-the-board cuts that will go into effect March 1st. Mara of Cheyenne commented on Facebook that I, quote, chose the sequester instead of closing tax loopholes for a few of my wealthy supporters, end quote. Bill of Sheridan also commented on Facebook and said that I should stand firm on sequester, end quote. At the listening sessions I held last week at almost every city, residents were worried about the effect on Wyoming and their local communities. And that seemed to kind of crescendo through the week because the administration was putting out stories about what was going to be cut. And in Wyoming, it was kind of disappointing that they picked on F.E. Warren Air Force Base and said 700 people would be furloughed and that Yellowstone Park and Grand Teton Park might need to be shut down, at least the visitor center. And I kept wondering, what part of across the board aren't they paying attention to? How come they're trying to contrive a crisis and contrive it in specific areas rather than just taking a 2 3/10% cut? I know almost everybody in Wyoming has had to take cuts, and some of them have been up to 25%. So it's a little hard to believe that the government, out of $3 6/10 trillion, can't come up with $85 billion. Why, we gave away almost that much money to the Sandy disaster in New York, which was off the budget, which I wish we'd really budget for that instead. And one of the things that we needed to do was to force every department, every agency, every program to list what they do best, prioritize it down to what they do worst, and then we could eliminate the worst first. And that's what really needs to be done. That's the way that good management would happen. That's what the president's job is. He's supposed to be the manager of our country. We're supposed to be the lawmakers and the appropriators, but he's supposed to manage the country. But he's not doing a management job. He's just out campaigning, and that's wrong. I received some criticism for my vote against the Violence Against Women Act. Kristen of Buffalo commented on Facebook that my vote was, quote, the symbolic act of refusing to support women, end quote. And Michael of Casper asked in a letter, what possible objection could you have to this legislation? And Alex of Casper said, many senators voted for this bill, not because it accomplishes anything, but because of its name. And that's one of the problems that we have. It has an absolutely great title. We've had that same bill essentially 2 previous times, except for one little section in it. And the 2 previous times I have helped support it and get it through the process. But this time there's a little part in there that's unconstitutional. And we couldn't get that changed so that there would be guaranteed due process for people if they were non-tribal members on a reservation. And we don't think that that ought to be set up so that it discriminates and eliminates due process. The bill needed to assure those constitutional rights, and it could have been cleared up easily. Senator Cornyn had an amendment that would have done that. He wasn't allowed to have a vote on that amendment. Hopefully it'll get cleared up in conference committee. And then when it comes back from conference committee, all of us can vote for it unanimously, as we did the 2 previous times. So I want to thank you for your thoughts and suggestions. Share your thoughts with me on Facebook and Twitter. Call any of my offices. Send me an email or send a letter. And please keep them coming. I did the listening session so that I'd know what was happening. This is another way that I know what's happening and what to do. Thank you.